Mazarin, according to his custom, was thinking much and saying little. "Ho, ho," said he, "good advice, advice of a friend. I, too, would give up that good Monsieur Brousel, dead or alive, and all would be at an end. If you yield him dead, all will indeed be at an end, my lord, but quite otherwise than you mean." "Did I say dead or alive?" replied Mazarin. "It was only a way of speaking. You know I am not familiar with the French language, which you, Monsieur le Coadjutor, both speak and write so well. This is a council of state," D'Artagnan remarked to Porthos, "but we held better ones at La Rochelle, with Athos and Aramis." "At the Saint Gervais bastion," said Porthos. "There and elsewhere." The coadjutor let the storm pass over his head and resumed, still with the same tranquillity: "Madame, if the opinion I have submitted to you does not please you, it is doubtless because you have better counsels to follow. I know too well the wisdom of the queen, and that of her advisers, to suppose that they will leave the capital long in trouble that may lead to a revolution. Thus, then, it is your opinion," said Anne of Austria, with a sneer and biting her lips with rage, "that yesterday's riot, which today is already a rebellion, tomorrow may become a revolution." "Yes, madame," replied the coadjutor, gravely; "but if I am to believe you, sir, the people seem to have thrown off all restraint. It is a bad year for kings," said Gondy, shaking his head. "Look at England." "Madame, yes, but fortunately we have no Oliver Cromwell in France," replied the queen. "Who knows?" said Gondy. "Such men are like thunderbolts, one recognizes them only when they have struck." Every one shuddered, and there was a moment of silence, during which the queen pressed her hand to her side, evidently to still the beatings of her heart. "Porthos," murmured D'Artagnan, "look well at that priest." "Yes," said Porthos, "I see him. What then?" "Well, he is a man—" Porthos looked at D'Artagnan in astonishment. Evidently he did not understand his meaning. "Your Majesty," continued the coadjutor, pitilessly, "is about to take such measures as seem good to you, but I foresee that they will be violent and such as will still further exasperate the rioters. In that case, you, Monsieur le Coadjutor, who have such power over them, and are at the same time friendly to us," said the queen, ironically, "will quiet them by bestowing your blessing upon them." "Perhaps it will be too late," said Gondy, still unmoved. "Perhaps I shall have lost all influence. Have I not, then, that right?" cried the queen. "If you have it, use it," replied Gondy. "Peste!" said D'Artagnan to Porthos. "There is a man after my own heart. Oh, if he were minister, and I were his D'Artagnan, instead of belonging to that beast of a Mazarin! Mordieu, what fine things we would do together!" "Yes," said Porthos. The queen made a sign for every one, except Mazarin, to quit the room, and Gondy bowed, as if to leave with the rest. "Stay, sir," said and to him. "Good," thought Gondy, "she is going to yield. She is going to have him killed," said D'Artagnan to Porthos. "But at all events it shall not be by me, I swear to heaven. On the contrary, that if they fall upon him I will fall upon them." "And I, too," said Porthos. "Good," muttered Mazarin, sitting down. "We shall soon see something startling." The queen's eyes followed the retreating figures, and when the last had closed the door she turned away. It was evident that she was making unnatural efforts to subdue her anger. She fanned herself, smelled at her vinaigrette, and walked up and down. Gondy, who began to feel uneasy, examined the tapestry with his eyes, touched the coat of mail which he wore under his long gown, and felt from time to time to see if the handle of a good Spanish dagger, which was hidden under his cloak, was well within reach. And now, At last said the queen, "Now that we are alone, repeat your counsel, Monsieur le Coadjutor. It is this, madame, that you should appear to have reflected, and publicly acknowledge an error, which constitutes the extra strength of a strong government, release Broussel from prison and give him back to the people." "Oh," cried Anne, "to humble myself thus! Am I, or am I not, the queen? This screaming mob, are they, or are they not, my subjects? Have I friends? Have I guards? Ah, by Notre Dame, as Queen Catherine used to say," continued she, excited by her own words, "rather than give up this infamous Broussel to them, I will strangle him with my own hands." She sprang toward Gondy, whom assuredly at that moment she hated more than Broussel, with outstretched arms. The Coadjutor remained immovable, and not a muscle of his face was discomposed, only his glance flashed like a sword in returning the furious looks of the queen. "He were a dead man," said the Gascon, "if there were still a Vitry at the court, and if Vitry entered at this moment; but for my part, before he could reach the good prelate I would kill Vitry. At once the cardinal would be infinitely pleased with me.